So yeah, so happy Monday. We're back. It's Labor Day, even though I had the day off of work, not taking a day off from this. And y'all actually saved my marriage because I cannot stand painting anything. I don't care what it is. My wife decided she was going to repaint the guest bathroom today. And I'm like, sorry, I'll go pick up the stuff from Lowe's from you, but I have a video to do. And y'all know this video takes about 2.5 hours to go through, another hour to edit at least. And then make the video. I'm starting a little bit early. I still have some yard work to do outside, but right now it's 95 degrees with 64% humidity. It's hot. So I thank y'all because I wasn't going to paint. That's what's going on with that. For those who caught my Saturday video, that was pretty cool. I haven't did a Saturday driving video, even though I'm driving every Saturday somewhere. My wife's like, when are you going to spend the weekend at home? I just got too much going on. There's always something somewhere for me going to go to on Saturdays. And I haven't did a Saturday driving video for a while. So there was a couple of things I want to discuss. So I'm like, screw it. I need to do a Saturday driving video. For those of y'all who watched it, thank y'all. Appreciate it. Thanks for giving me a thumbs up on that. Thanks for giving me a thumbs up on this video. But one thing that I've discussed in the live last Thursday, we do a live every Thursday. Make sure you catch it. But we talked about Tech Hustler's video called Is DEPIN Dead? And look, I don't mean to keep bringing it up because I'm friends with the guy and he helped me out and I'm helping him out. That video doesn't need any help. It's getting views. But some of y'all, because he's gone a little cuckoo lately. I can't do a video without a shirt on. I'd lose all 32,000 subscribers I got. But y'all really need to take time to go watch the video. He's not wrong. When you listen to what he's saying about a lot of these projects, he's not wrong. DEPIN right now is struggling. We're going to go through that in a minute, but there's a lot of these projects that are struggling. Price action is going way low. Rewards are going lower. They're not getting better. He's not really wrong on some of these projects. Now, some projects that we do agree on, he did another video also on it. The two that he really likes right now, the same two that I really like right now, Wingbits, GEODNET, I agree with him on that. But y'all really need to I'm going to have that link in that description below so y'all can go watch that when y'all done with this video. Or I might even add it to the end of my video just to try. I think y'all need to go watch it because it's not wrong. A lot of us have discussed it in our live. People selling projects and parts for projects astronomically more than what it costs to make. Now, understand software and stuff. Look, I discussed all this in my Saturday video. I don't want to discuss it all now. So thank y'all for watching and those people who watched that. What's going on with crypto right now? I don't know. Listen, I've been watching a lot of videos lately. I've had the weekend off, today off too, going to Lowe's. Lowe's is about 30, 40 minutes from the house, watching videos. And my fellow YouTubers, if that's the way you want to put it, they're all over the place. You watch one guy saying, we're not getting nothing like we think we're going to get. You got another guy saying, we're getting 2 to 3 rate drops over the, between now and Christmas, and put your seatbelt on. Listen, I've always said when Bitcoin's supposed to zig, it zags. I've also learned in this market that if the Bitcoin market thinks or crypto market thinks that we're getting at least 2 rate drops, that's already baked in the price. Because I've watched when we gotten rate hikes or we didn't think, well, we were supposed to get a rate increase and we didn't, and you didn't have all this positive price action. It still dropped. Like, it's weird. So I don't know. We have to see what's going on with it. Well, before we start looking at this, remember, none of this is financial advice. I have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. And you're an idiot if you follow any of my TA. Saying that, y'all know I steal that from Alex Becker, but it is true. Because, you see these lines all over the place. Like, I know what the hell I'm talking about. It is funny how you can draw these lines certain ways and not even line up. We watched Bitcoin go up, kept hitting the support line. And I said, if it breaks down below this line after all this times it hit support, if it breaks down, it's going to break down hard. And it sure enough broke down hard. And I said, you're hoping you see it go above this line at some point. At some point, you think it's going to have to. But when you look at this right now, it's funny how you can draw a line from the top of this where this candle closed at. You hit it right here. You hit it right here. You didn't quite hit it here. Bitcoin might still continue to go low. I watched a video with Crypto Face and them talking about how you're going to have a weekly and a monthly or something like that close all at the same time down. This was the 3 weeks in a row you had Bitcoin drop. The weekly chart, you had 3 red candles in a row. First time we've had that in some time. So even back here, you had it back in January, and then it took a dump. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, we're starting a little bit positive for the day, which has raised it a little bit for the week. Bitcoin dominance, you didn't really want to see this raising back up. You got a green candle. You kind of wanted to see it continue to go down to trigger some type of alt season. Ethereum, they kept talking about if it hits 5,000, all these shorts were going to be liquidated, and people, you know, what was going to happen? They thought it was going to shoot straight up, because if all these liquidations happen of all these shorts, it was going to take off. Well, guess what? It didn't hit 5,000. It hit right before 5,000, and them shorts kicked in. You know, if you want to sit here and call price manipulation, I do. I have no way of proving it, but in the last bull market, despite what you want to say about the man, I know he went crazy, but he proved it though. Him, and I think even George from Cryptos R Us, he even discussed how they were proving that certain exchanges were opening or dumping tokens or buying tokens or doing something to manipulate the price when they knew a whole bunch of bad stuff was going to happen. And again, I have no way of proving that, but you had all this momentum, all this momentum going up, and Ethereum petered out right before 5,000, and some of these shorts won. Lucky them. Here's Solana. Poor thing can't stay above 200 to save its life right now. It makes the 200 and bounces off, and 200 bounces off. You probably could. Oh yeah, isn't it crazy how these lines? Like I just did this right in front of y'all. Isn't it crazy how these lines just like match up? So what do you think? Do you think that do you draw a second line here? And see if it collapses, you know, what happens when it gets to the end of this? That's the part that's TA like 2.0 that I don't really get. You know, I don't know. I mean, technically it's more like this, but I've always been told it's where you have more points that hit at. You know, you have almost a perfect line, but who knows? Let's leave this here for a week and see what happens. This is the daily, so by next week we'll see what happens towards the end of this. But usually what happens is it'll bounce in between this, and then either breaks hard up, breaks hard down. We'll see. But that's Solana. So, ladies and gentlemen, the part you came here for, projects. Again, I had to go and make sure I didn't accidentally pour myself some Bywater bourbon in here. In case I was seeing things, it's just straight tea. Go Tigers. Hell of a win Saturday night, if y'all saw that. Hell of a win over Clemson. Definitely had to go to church Sunday morning because my mouth got me in trouble. But let's get started. All right, so getting started. I got all excited because I thought a certain project like completely leapfrogged everybody, and then I realized that was for the week and not every day. So now I had to go back, making this video even longer for me, not for y'all, because I'm editing all that out. And realized I'm an idiot. Again, it's been a long day. I don't know. Starting off, still number one for the who knows how many weeks in a row. Counted. This is the eighth week in a row. Still number one, holding on, losing a little momentum. Chirp is in some price free fall, if that's the word you want to call it. I'm talking about some free fall. I'm reading about several people, but a lot of people talking about how, let me just show you. So it says right here, looks like I was right. Whoever this guy is, E2M28 Black 6 EM, I don't know. Looks like I was right. Everyone's dumping their Chirp tokens now that the first major lockup period ended. I tell you, I'm staking mine. I have not sold any Chirp. I'm staking all of my Chirp, and as they come free, I'm staking them. Now, I want to talk about this real quick before we go any further. I meant to talk about this before we got started. A lot of y'all are asking me about alt season, staking, tokens being locked up. My plan as of right now is that I'm staking through, I'm gonna say the end of the year. Today, I'm gonna release the video tomorrow about Silencio and how much that's going down the toilet bowl. But I've even still staked that for 3 months to keep getting my raffle tickets. Any project right now that I can stake for 3 months or less, I'm staking through the end of the year. I'm telling y'all, everything I'm watching, everything I'm reading is if we have an alt season, it will be hard. It'll be short. It'll be November, December, maybe into January. That's if you go off of what a lot of people are saying. People know way more than me about this. So I'm looking at this. I've told you before, this channel, I'm going to sell when I'm selling, when I'm ready. Here's my little disclaimers. But I own these tokens and I'm going to sell these tokens when I'm ready. I told y'all before many times, this project, this channel is not about holding on tokens forever or long-term hodling. We've made that mistake in previous cycles. And I'm not, told y'all before, sorry, I sound like a broken record, but I'm not watching my crypto wallet go down 80% again, 90%, whatever it was. That was disgusting. And I'm not watching again. My plan is, now listen, I say this today on September 1st. Come October, November, December, I could change plans. Everything is fluid in crypto because there's another part of me where I'm going to go against everything I just said the last 3 minutes and say, I, for one, and I'm one of the rare people that say this. That's why I don't think it's true and you should put no stock into this. But I'm going to say, with this new president, not to make this political, but it's a different president doing crazy, obnoxious things. Some of y'all, if y'all like the man, they're going to say these are good, crazy, obnoxious things. And the people who don't like him are going to say it's horrible, obnoxious things. We just had a big blowout in my Discord about politics, and we have to come to a complete no more politics in the Discord rule because it goes off the deep end. And he wasn't even trying to make it political, but it turned in political. So what I'm going to say is, what my fat gut feeling, overweight gut feeling is, all bets are off. You know, when we started having downturns to go into bear market, bear cycles, whatever you want to call it, there was always a significant event that happened. The FTX debacle, Luna Classic debacle, wars, and different things like that going on that all triggered these into the horrible bear markets and stuff like that. How do we know we're going to have that this time? We don't know. You don't know. And because of that, you can't sit there and say, oh, it's only going to be a two month alt cycle. And then you have people on YouTube and on Twitter and everywhere else that say the cycles are the cycles and the cycles are the cycles. And I just disagree with that, because you have way more. Oh, think about it. Think how many more alt tokens you have that you own or that are on the market today that they didn't have 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whenever the last bull market was. And then think about it on the cycle before that. What tokens did you have back in, was it 2016, 2017, when that bull market came? What tokens were back there for money to be spread around? Money is going to be spread way differently this time. And I think that's going to either help or hurt this cycle. And I just don't think it's going to be an ordinary cycle. I think that with everything going on, you have some tariffs being calmed down. I'll use that word. You have possibly 2 to 3 rate drops coming. You have this Russia war possibly ending. You're going to have a couple of things that should really help the market. And if this market's really getting strong around Christmas, do you think this is going to end and go into a bear market? I just don't see it. But again, that's why I'm poor. And I'm sorry, I'm not allowed to say that no more. I always get somebody who attacks me if I say that, because this channel used to be called The Grumpy Poor Dad as a joke because people have teenagers going to college. 9 times out of 10 we're poor. But anyway, I got attacked for that. So I know I went way off the deep end here, but I have to keep mentioning that because that kind of dictates how I act on this channel and the advice I give y'all, even though it's not financial advice. I'm sorry, the advice I give to myself when I'm doing the things I'm doing. So going off of all that I just rambled on 5 minutes, needlessly about, that's why I am not staking longer than 3 months. Because I really think, going off of what these other people are saying, alt season in December is going to be here. And if my crypto is locked up, I'm not doing it no more. I mean, in staking. So like SOARCHAIN, I'm making 100 and something tokens a day in SOARCHAIN. I'm gonna talk about that in a little bit later, but I'm not gonna continue staking it because there's a 3-month release period. So my plan as of right now is October. I'm not staking anything else with them. I'm gonna continue making my 100 and stacking it up. And if it looks like we're gonna have some type of alt season and it going up, I'm gonna try to start pulling my SOARCHAIN out because it's I want to say it's a 3-month unlocking period. Yeah, I was right. 90 days of unstaking, 90-day unstaking period. So I think October 1st, I'm pulling them out. Ain't worth much anything. We'll talk about SOARCHAIN later. So Chirp, I'm going to continue staking them for 3 months or less if I can, and that's it. So Chirp, one of the big announcements they have right now is data hunters have voted, and Wings of Chronos will launch with the start of round 6, September 17th. They explained for some reason that if they started in the middle of round 5, it would split rewards or something. So for round 5, we'll still have the usual 840,000 Chirp shared among the people who keep constantly cheating. I don't want to beat the dead horse. We know who they are. They don't want to do anything about them. So be it. But those people are the ones running away with majority of the Chirp in this this game, if you want to call it that. Wings of Chirp KAGE update. New version has already passed the Play Store review. So Google Play or Google Store, whatever you call it, has already reviewed it. That has already been approved. So they're ready to go with a download. Millions of beacons already hidden worldwide, with jackpot beacons worth up to $1,000 in Chirp. I can't see how they're going to cheat their way on this one. They're going to figure out a way. KAGE Store is ready to boost your performance of premium passes and scanners. New rewards model starts in round 6. 40% beacon pool, 40% premium pool, 20% free pool. So does that mean that this 840,000 Chirp is now being split 40, 40, and 20? No. Maybe if I look down here. A global map and list of cities where beacons are located. They had a chart that before they launched, that's what they'll share. Extra hints on jackpot beacon locations, all other necessary details. So I'm guessing what happened is wherever they need network scanned at, we'll bet that's where the beacons are going to be located at. So on September 17th, data hunters will be able to download the new KAGE version from the Play Store, start AR crypto hunt, internet cities and streets. I'm very curious to know the rural areas like I'm in. What is that going to affect? What's that going to include? Curious to see how that's going to go. KAGE Store on app Chirp Wireless IO will open slightly. Listen, this is all funny games. This is great. We can say it's all funny games. Listen, guys, I know I'm negative all the time, and I'm sorry. That's just the way I've lived my life so far for the last 50 years. This is supposed to be a Chirp network project. Why are we so worried about Chirp KAGE going around and scanning people's networks? Why are we so worried about this beacons project in this thing? We discussed this in my Discord, where it seems like Chirp has gotten away from what they planned to be. They are holding back the amount of actual Blackbird miners being sold. They're only releasing a very few every now and then to be sold. Why? If you're trying to be this worldwide network, listen, I know you don't want to be like Helium. We don't need 10 devices in one hex. At the price of these things, I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. But my point is, why not try to get more Blackbird miners? Why wouldn't that be your number one thing? Working on networks, working on IoT devices, building on your network. Why are you so worried about Chirp KAGE that you have to constantly remind people about and this thing? I don't understand it. I don't know what this premium pool, 1,000 premium players max means. Maybe I need to look into it some more. I don't know. We'll see. But here we go again. The update came out this morning. KAGE app fits everyone. All you need is your phone to KAGE. No, all you need is your Google device, because y'all refuse to work with iPhone and you'll keep using the excuse that iPhone doesn't allow this. But yet there are similar projects out there on iPhone that does network scanning. But whatever, I'm not going down that route with y'all. But tell us, data hunters, how do you mainly collect data chirps in KAGE? Because you ride around with the damn thing on. Like, okay, why? Like, what do I need to go back into announcements back to a year ago, 2 years? This project was out before Wingbits. I was in this project or in this Discord before Wingbits. Basically 2.5 years ago. I don't understand. I don't know. Let me keep going before this video is 3 hours long. So that's your price action right now with Chirp KAGE. Even for the day, you're down 10% for the day, 20% for the last week. We're still making $3.86. So for right now, we're doing good. We hope that they can right this ship. Again, to me, not to sound like you know, I know I'm beating a dead horse and y'all sick of hearing me say that, but maybe y'all need to get back to what y'all were planning on doing from the beginning, and that's working on IoT network stuff. I don't know. Number 2 is GEODNET. GEODNET kind of stayed the same since last week. No real movement. Like I said, you've had about a 0.24% change in the week. So this price is holding steady. That's a good thing. No announcements at all. You know, I've had a couple people ask me about the GeoPulse, and they haven't been getting rewards and no contests and stuff. Look, I've told y'all that y'all buying those GeoPulses, there wasn't going to be everyday rewards. Only when there were certain contests or whatever things y'all can do, quests and stuff like that. When there's no quest not going on, y'all were just providing free data to them. That's why I didn't do it. You know, I'm not trying to get rich off GeoDNet, but again, if I'm doing something to help that project, I'll need to be compensated a little bit for it, just a little bit. All right, moving up the rankings a little bit, more or less because the other ones have gone down, but it's going to be ROVR. I have to say ROVR is another one that this price has been stuck here, which is a good thing, but it's been stuck at this right under a penny for a while now. Again, it's hard for me to judge what you're going to make with ROVR versus what I make, because with it, you know, the amount of ROVR I make going back and forth to work and the meetings I do and go and look at different towers and stuff. I try to run ROVR whenever I'm in the vehicle, you know, unless I'm going run like 1 block down the road from my office. But I try to run ROVR everywhere. Yesterday, going back and forth to my hunting lease. That was Saturday. Today, going back and forth to Lowe's. Yesterday, I went to the movie theater and watched Jaws for the 50th anniversary in the movie theater. I have to tell y'all, it was a different experience watching Jaws in the movie theater. I rather enjoyed it. My wife made fun of me, but I'm telling you, it's a different theater. Watching it 4K, surround sound, big screen right in front of you. It was a different, it was cool. It was cool. A lot of nostalgia with it because I grew up watching that. But anyway, I ran ROVR the whole day. I averaged about $1.40 worth of tokens. You know, you depending on how much you drive, could be more, could be less, but that ROVR price has stayed about the same. A couple different announcements they've had is that unlocking future spatial AI, ADS AV Tech Summit. Sounds like a cool thing. North America, or over on, I'm going to find out what that is. Santa Clara. I'm going to find out what that is next year. But anyway, so they had a big deal there. ROVR Network Fleet Management System is now in public testing. The ROVR Network Fleet Management System is now open for public testing. You can download the latest version, Google Play Store, encounter issues. So, and again, they make a little picture. So if you're into fleet management system and you're into ROVR, I don't know what, you know, what that all involves, but hey, they're now doing fleet management testing, public testing. So in case you want to contact them for that. All right, so moving on from that, number 4 spot, starting to get into our ESP32 projects. Next, rank number 4 is going to be Junk Coin. Junk Coin is struggling with its token pricing. You had a pretty big sale earlier, over $100 worth of tokens, pulled this price down. Still making about $1.24 a day, averaging somewhere around 269,000 junk per day. Now, again, I've had a crazy weekend, so as usual, I forgot to do my pool, boost pool, whatever you want to call it, on Sunday night. So I'll remember that when I'm figuring out the numbers at the end of the week. But I did boost, and I think I'm doing it the way I was told to do it this time. So to work the NFTs the correct way, even though I had 14,800 tokens, I didn't go boost them all. I only put in enough boost to get me right into first place. So by putting in 8.5 million tokens along with my boost NFTs, that put me at about 13.1 million. You know, I used the calculator. I was trying to get about 13 million. Hey, I got close. So now I have to play the game of watching this and seeing if Oriolanus Otains or something decides that he wants to put another 600 or half million tokens in there and pass me up, or whatever he needs. You know, I see some of the guys in here, Deal Cracker and them that are in here playing the game also, Rumbly Zeus. But we'll see how this goes. So I just did this just now while looking at this, and we'll see what the rewards are going to be at the end of the day. Of course, this isn't an update yet. You still got 4 epochs left for the day, or challenges, whatever you want to call them. But we'll see. We'll see what it is, and I'll do the math, and I'll use a calculator so I can make sure I'm right. But I'm gonna tell you, every time this is probably the 4th time maybe that I've did a boost, maybe more, maybe less, but about 4th time. This is my 2nd time doing it since this NFT thing started. But every time I've did a boost, you would have did better just holding your tokens. Now, I'll say this again for the benefit of the project. The positive thing is in one of my videos a while back, I actually added them up, is you have 13 million here, 12.5 million, 12.5 million, 12.5 million, 12 million, 11.5 million. All these tokens, plus whoever is below this, all those tokens are getting burned. So this project does burn a lot of tokens. But as you can see, it's hurting as far as price. No, I'm wrong. It's been lower in August. So it has come up, and it kind of like another project. But you had somebody who sold $161 and, you know, $24, and that kind of rocked that price. You had somebody who sold $300 almost 5 days ago. So I am curious to see how this, you know, even though it says you only had 2 transactions, you know, I don't know how long this was, but, you know, we'll see. The thing about this project is, with this project is, like, if this person's still in this, if this person right here is still in this project, they can't claim no more. They can't claim no more until they either burn back or basically they're out the project. So I guess if you only paid for your ESP32 and that's it, and you were in here early, and you sat here and collected all these tokens, you made 160, let's say $150 profit. Well, guys, I'm poor shit, you know, but I'm not ruining my future with a project for $150. Some of y'all might. Hey, that's on y'all. You know, I got people telling me all the time, I don't take profits enough. I didn't take profits when Crow was up to 40 cents or whatever it was. And y'all know I bought that. I'm way up in Crow. Just have certain goals for me, and $150 ain't helping me towards my goal. Could I get burned? Absolutely. But it's not, you know, with this project, you have to burn 4x of what you sold. This guy would have to basically burn 137, almost 138 million tokens worth $645. Or he has to somehow buy back that $161 worth and put that back in. Um, basically he's done. Because if you're gonna buy back the $161, then why even sell it to begin with? So that's junk coin for right now. We'll see what happens with my boost and how that goes from here. So moving on, project number 5, Onocoy. Now Onocoy is another one that somebody needs to go put a stop sign or red light up, because this one, even though this project always has a lot of this movement throughout the day, but you have 44 transactions for 2.4 thousand, but you have your price is down to 3 cents, 3 and 8 cents. Last week we were over 5 cents, so we've had some price reduction coming down with Onocoy, which has hurt our rewards. We're down to about $1.20 now. Going with some of these other projects, the ones that are below it, you're not doing that bad. It was in number 3. I didn't get a chance to change it, so it was in 3 last week, and now it's going to be in number 5. So as far as announcements, I don't remember really going over this, but apparently there's a new hardware channel for different hardware. You'll find trusted hardware partners, details on minor models and pricing, setup guides and stuff like that. So you can go check that out. Also, the green areas on the Onocoy Explorer might look saturated, but zoom in, opportunity is on the opportunity map, and you'll spot hundreds of places in Europe still earning 100% of token rewards. Just because it looks covered doesn't mean it's saturated. So in other words, when you see this, don't automatically assume that wherever you want to put one of these up is covered. Click deep into it, and you'll see that there are some opportunity maps where they need coverage at. So this should just help. It'd be cool to see Wingbits or somebody else come up with that. But I guess it's just common sense. When you look and you see no stations in a certain area, within 100 miles of each other, or a little more than 100 miles, then that's opportunity. All right, moving on to number 6. Number 6 is Entropy. Entropy's got a little bit of price slipping also. This is a very volatile price. I'll come check it sometimes. It's getting back up to 8 and go back at the 6, but it's always been between that 6 and 8 lately. Our average amount of tokens being mined per day has kind of leveled off. It was also coming down as more Ashlers were coming online. I know Helium Deploy is not really selling Ashlers anymore. They're all sold out. Entropy has opened a store. So if you want to use my code GrumpyDad56 at the Entropy store, you can get an Ashler with a discount. If the code don't work, contact me. We've had some issues with it, and I'll get it straight with the team. But right now, those like I said, it's been a little volatile. But yeah, you can see since last week when we did our video, it was up here about 7.4. We thought we were going to come back up and get into that 8 range again. Hey, we're not selling right now anyway. I mean, it does feel better when you can say you're making X amount a day, but we're not selling, we're hoarding it all anyway. So the price action doesn't really bother me. Somebody asked me about that. That's what I try explaining to them. This is a project we're not selling right now. So, I don't know what's happening to these people who are selling, but we'll see. And a lot of this buying and selling, if you look at this wallet with the D on the end, is just a maker market bot. And if you look at it, there's hardly any tokens there. They sell and buy randomly, where they even out every day. So even though it looks like this bot is buying 1 million, he's also purchasing. And when you kind of add it up and looked at it, and I sat here one day when I was bored and looked at it, they are making out even at the end. So that's one thing I wanted to point out. That's how they can have 455 transactions a day when some of these other projects have 6. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I have to let y'all in a little bit on a little secret, behind the scenes secret. Apparently, I got more sun this weekend than I thought. I got to go out and do some yard work before it gets dark. But my brain got fried. I sat here and did a 5-minute monologue with comedy and all kinds of stuff that I had queued up on the internet and memes and stuff like that, because I thought this next project went nuclear as far as their price. And we were making all kinds of money. Then I realized it was by the week and not every day. But I have moved this project back up into the mainnet. It was in the doghouse in the battle for last place section, but a lot of y'all have said they think this project is maybe not quite put to pasture yet. I'm not convinced. It's been 7 days. 7 days is not going to convince me. I think this is straight price manipulation. We've talked about it in videos. We've talked about it on my YouTube lives on Wednesday and Thursday night. Or Tuesday and Thursday night, whatever night we did lives last week, and I still think it's price manipulation. But either way, it has moved up significantly. Your rewards have doubled, the price has doubled, and we've seen a improvement in your minings per day. In 7th place, DIMO. Now, I actually thought the price per day would be even better than this. Last week and into this week, we saw our rewards double. Last week, we saw them double to about, I was getting about, I don't remember, 24, 25 tokens per car. Now I'm getting about, I was getting about 50. And then this week stayed about the same. Somebody in one Discord said theirs came down to earth. Mine did not. When I look at what I made in DIMO, from one vehicle last week to this vehicle last week, I got 50, 50, 59, 59, and 50. So I got 50 in 3 cars and 59 in 2 cars. Now I got last week I got 49, 49, and then 59, and then 69. So for some reason, I got 69 last week. That came down to 59. But my other vehicles basically stayed the same. So I don't know, but when this first paid out last week, you didn't have this price improvement. This came after my video. You had this price go nuclear. I don't know how else to put it. Nobody saw DIMO doing this. If you did see you doing it, you lie. So when you go back and look exactly 7 days, it doesn't look, you're down 9%. You were at 8.8 down to 7.8 now. But to see it, you really have to go to the monthly, and you can see where this big jump was. So when I still did my video yesterday, last Monday, it was at 4 cents. So at some point it jumped up at 7 p.m. my time, Monday, and it jumped up to 12 cents to 12 cents. I'm still waiting for an explanation for that. Nobody can explain this. Nobody can give us a reason why this happened. And what I truly believe is, this is me again with my conspiracy hat, with aluminum foil hat on, that I cannot prove any of this, but this is just what I think, and what some people think also, is DIMO hit the red panic button and said, oh, CHIT, oh shit, we didn't realize how many subscribers we were going to lose, or how many devices we lost, because people aren't going to subscribe. Because that's why your rewards went ballistic. And I think they decided to take money out the coffee fund, or whatever they got the money from, throw it into liquidity, burn tokens, whatever they had to do to get people up here. And then once it started doing this, I think you had people who also decided that they were going to start buying tokens, that, oh, this might be back. They started this new routine, subscriptions. And then you do have some people who buying tokens and bought tokens also. And then, reality checks in, and then you had this big drop. But by this point, from what I'm reading online, people FOMO'd back into subscriptions, exactly what they wanted. And it was back down here to 5 cents again. Now it's come back up to 8 cents. We're at 7, 8 right now. I don't know. I don't know why, you would have this drop today, the token drop today, and you still having this boost again. I don't know, guys. Look, this is when you scratch your head, and some things just aren't figure it outable, if that's the word to use. And when you read their announcements, you don't see anything. There's nothing discussing anything going on. If anybody even tries discussing it in the general chat room, they get shooed away because they think the SEC or somebody's going to come and and shut them all down if anybody talks anything about price action or positivity or anything like that. It's just weird. It's just weird. I want to know what's going on, and maybe I need to research deeper. Maybe I need to go into the deep dark crevices of Twitter X and see what some of the crazy people are saying. Sometimes they're right. I don't know. Somebody explain this to me. But for right now, we'll take it. I am finally, ROI'd. I went from 2 weeks ago not ROIing at all on 3 devices for $290 to now I'm at $463. Now, majority of mine are staked away like some people, but guess what? They end in like 3 months. So just like I went on this rant earlier with Chirp, if y'all didn't see that, go back and look at the Chirp section when I talk about staking. I'll try to make its own chapter so y'all can read it. Y'all can see it. But I think my DIMO's got, I don't know how much more staking it's got. Let me look into it. I can't even figure out how to even pull up staking anymore in this thing. I think I got 3 or 4 months left on this. I know I did not stake it any longer than a year. I think I might have staked it like 6 months, whatever the minimum was, which was back in May. So that should be November it ends. Maybe December. I'm not restaking it. And if the price stays up like this, I'm selling. I'm taking some profit on DIMO. Hey, hopefully I'll be up maybe like $1,000 by then. Who knows? Do I wish it did way better? Absolutely. Again, just like Chirp, if this project is still going up and there's still momentum behind it, hey, I might keep my tokens in there. We'll see. But I'm not staking them again. No way. All right, moving on to my next tokens. Honeygain, Pawns, Byte, Benefit, Earnapp, all about the same thing now. I'm running these on any projects or any devices that I can run these on other than my home computers. My home computer's not running any of this crap. But my spare computers, my old computers on different networks and stuff like that, I do have some on bid harvest on some of my devices that are being hosted. They are aware of it. I told them that I actually would bump up either their wings a little bit, or I told one of them I'd Venmo them some cash. The problem is we were making great money with Earnapp, and that like every other good thing, nothing lasts. So we're back to where we were before on the bottom. Byte Benefit, one of y'all told me about it. I can get it to work on maybe on 2 computers. That's about it. It won't work on anything else. It's weird because not just Byte Benefit, but some projects will work on some connections when the other ones won't work on that same connection. But then that one will work on a different connection that another one says, I can't do it because it's a VPN, which none of them are VPNs. It's just weird that I can't get all 4 of them to work on every connection. Each connection's got one of them now say, we don't like this connection for some reason. We're not working with it. So that's that one. WeatherXM is this close to taking DIMO spot underneath at the battle for last place. The only reason I'm keeping WeatherXM is I have several y'all telling me several y'all are telling me y'all still have faith in WeatherXM. I know Nubla is releasing soon. At least that's what I'm being told by one of the distributors. I thought they were fully released on mainnet. I guess they're not. I just don't know if we have room for another weather station, but it's not here or there. So one of the announcements is they have unified QoD annotations and ISD are now live. They released a new update. So to me, should this be knocking more stations offline? You telling me everybody's station's perfect? I don't know. Soon to both, including station photo verification, station location proximity enforcement. I have 2 WeatherXM stations. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. One of them I have not taken pictures of because I know they're gonna have an issue with it. It's on the side of my tower, even though it's about 2 feet off. Maybe it's about 2.5 foot standoff, but I know they're gonna have an issue with it. That's where I had room at. So be it. That's the best I could do. I'm sure they're gonna have people with way worse stations than I do. but we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. But XM pricing has come down just a little bit. You know, it did have a little jump for a very quick moment in the middle of the week, but apparently everybody found out about it. That was actually yesterday. But apparently everybody found out about it and hurried and sold. And they sold it hard and it bounced back a little bit, but it's down to 8 cents. So it was at 10 cents almost all week, and then it came down to 9 cents now. So it's only down 5% for the week, but it's down 25% for the month. So hopefully WeatherXM can inject some liquidity into here, do some token burning, both or something, and get this back alive. All right. Next is going to be grass. One thing we did not want to hear, but we kind of expected, Epoch 11 has started. And with that, you still have more people selling off. I think people are just getting too pissed off with this project. That is just my own 2 cents. I have nothing to back that up. But I still think people don't want to hear about another Epoch starting. Is that they, you know, we had 8 epochs last time. I don't understand what the difficulty is on rewarding people. Y'all have already did rewards once, so it's not like y'all have to rebuild the mechanism. It's not like y'all haven't did it before. Why y'all? It makes me question a lot with this project, and I know what's going to happen. What's going to happen is eventually they're going to pay us, no matter if it's this week, next month, whatever. We're going, I think, over a year at this point. I have to figure out exactly when we got rewarded last. It might be around this time, but what's going to happen is everybody's going to get paid. I'm going to look like a fool because I'm questioning things and stuff like that. Because there's millions of people involved in this. I can't believe the amount of people involved in this for a project that pays once a year. And what my fear is also is, and remember this, the first time we got paid, hey, rewards were great. We made over $1,000. And the first one also included Epoch 1, but also some beta rewards also. This time you only have round 2, if that's what you want to call it. Season 2, whatever. You're not going to have your beta rewards. Is that maybe why they're going extra epochs? I don't know. But I think at some point them saying that they're concentrating. We're not looking at time frames. We're looking at where the project's at. Y'all have already paid once. This isn't the first time y'all just going to mainnet. Y'all are already there. It shouldn't be this difficult to pay. And I think part of it is, and look, I know this is more conspiracies, but I think part of it is people aren't going to be happy with the rewards after waiting a year, and they're afraid they're going to lose some people. You know, I see people who are all about, oh man, but they're coming out with this new device to plug in at your house. Don't you have that already? I don't know, man. You know, who knows? Who knows what's going on with grass? Moving on for battle for last place, Helium IoT. I don't know what else to say about that. I mean, price. Yes, you had some price action throughout the week. It went up to 260 and 262, 266, 260. But then when you look at it week for week, 7 days ago, it was the exact same price almost. 248, 250. So it had a 0.6% increase. I don't know. I know I'm the broken record, but I'm going to say this again for the 400th time. This is a working network, working project. My first thing is, I tell everybody this is, why are we still making such piss poor rewards? We were making, when we were on our way up and they had 250,000 devices, we were making way more than this. And I'm not even talking about the halving. Yes, I understand the halving. We got half the rewards and then half the rewards again. But we're making rewards now like they had 900,000 devices out there. And I think that's what everybody's pissed off and had enough about. But for me, like I have 17, 18 devices out there. I'm not unhooking them. Just going to let them run. When one goes offline, I don't go out my way to figure it out. I had one that got blown up in a lightning storm. I'm not paying $75 or $100 to get it swapped out. Luckily I've had one or two of my followers who donated the one to me. Both of them told me pay for the shipping, and I might send them a little bit more, and I appreciate that. but I'm not going to buy them. You know, it is what it is. But I appreciate those people who helped me out, because like I said, I had to send one to my son. I got a niece that wants one. I got set one up in New Orleans downtown, because I'm gonna make it also with a Wingbits device and stuff like that. But that's about it. Yeah, I'm gonna need a drink for this next one. You might want to put your earplugs in for this mess. Let me bump this up a little bit so y'all can see. Next, number 12. Look, I even got a bad taste in my mouth. Silencio. Let me try to explain something to y'all, because I've had a couple of smart ass comments. You know, people are like, well, it's okay if you're getting less because you're not running the project. If it's supposed to be raffle tickets, it doesn't matter if I'm running the project. What I'm curious to know is, any of y'all who have not been in this project that long, I want y'all to tell me, what did y'all make last month? Put in the comments below, DM me on Discord, hit me up on my Discord. Make sure y'all are in my Discord. But to me, I had 770,000 raffle tickets. I made 20,000 less tokens than I did last month. I had more raffle tickets. That's 20,000 less than I made the month before that. So that's 40,000 less in 2 days with 2 months with more raffle tickets. 770,000 raffle tickets. And I got $7 worth of tokens. And again, it shouldn't matter if I'm running this project more. I've been running this project since the day one, since the beginning. When all y'all didn't know nothing about it, and I was sitting there running venues and on Disney trips with my family, paying more attention to this stupid project than I was with my family on vacations. And I busted my ass to get to where I am. That I have 700. I'm still staking all my tokens. I could dump them on y'all, but I'm not. I still have all my tokens staked for 3 months. Guess what? Come December, that's going to change. But my point I'm trying to make is, I don't want to hear about, oh, well, you're not running this project no more. I'm in a small town. Every venue that's hit, I can't stand the fact that the only way to make anything decent is to either watch ads, which pays Silencio, or pay for subscription that pays for Silencio. Go look at my notes about DIMO. And I still will say this all the time. It just pisses me off when you have some cheerleader that wants to confront me that, how are you crying you made less tokens when you're not running the project no more? It shouldn't matter. I have 770,000 tokens, and they have people who have told me they had 200, 300,000 less tokens who got paid more than me. And that shouldn't be right. This raffle ticket bull smack has to stop. It's a joke. It's not funny. And to me, it's a way for Silencio to manipulate things. Because there's certain cheerleaders can get paid more, and that's a way they can slip it to them, and nobody will know nothing. And I could be 100% wrong, but tell me I'm wrong. Show me I'm wrong. Because it seems like the people like me and Tech Hustler and some of these other ones that had more referrals, even though I was out there busting my butt and I got all these awards for hitting all these hexes and doing all these scans and everything like that. But because I had a bunch of referrals, I got called out. Tech Hustler gets called out. And these other people get called out. It's funny how we're making such little bit of tokens now. And I ran the project. Silencio has been called out so much because they know people were taking sound checks while sitting in the car in front of venues. And then Silencio is going to go sell that to companies. I don't see how this model is going to continue to work. But I can't stay in the subscription part and these ads, and people are like, well, just don't watch them then. You're right. So instead of me getting $7 a month, I'm going to get 70 cents a month. Because the only way you get tokens is by the bonuses. And the only way you get bonuses is by watching the ads, which Silencio then gets paid. So not only Silencio getting paid by customers, they're getting paid by us when we submit the stuff to them. Does that even sound right to y'all? Sometimes the cheerleaders are the worst. It's because of all these cheerleaders that people think there's nothing wrong. And the project think there's nothing wrong. And that's why I've always said these Discords have to have a balance between, listen, I know you don't want to have people bashing it all day, but don't go delete every bad comment. All right, I think we got my point across in Silencio. Moving on to Natix. As of right now, you know, September 1st is a holiday, but we have not gotten paid with Natix at all. But it's only the first day of the month. I'm not sweating that. Not that bad of a price decrease in the last week. We have 0.0079. Now you're 0.073. You know, I really don't know what's going on with Natix. Yeah, people who clearly are smoking crack right now on the coin market cap asking if they can get to 5 cents. Dude, how about you just eat a zero first? Let's take baby steps. Um, yeah, I don't see 5 cents. Somebody said in the next bull cycle, I don't see 5 cents then. You got some people making some comments that I'm not even going to repeat. A lot of accusations. I haven't really seen or heard anything about that. No announcements in the Discord. I don't really see nothing crazy going on with them. So they seem like they really want to take last place. However, last place is solely deeply entrenched by SOARCHAIN. You know, where Natix and Silencio were completely free projects to get into. SOARCHAIN, you had to buy the mini that hooked to your car. It seems like they have basically abandoned that part of the project. They are pushing real hard this camera app, which I have been running since early beginnings. And I made, you know, I think almost $100 when they finally paid for that. A lot of people, including myself, talking about the photo thing that is on the phone now, which is just another camera. So on top of, you know, Natix and, you know, whatever other ones are doing, Hive Mapper and ROVR and everybody else doing photos while you're driving using the camera. Here's another project doing it. You know, I don't know if this is SOARCHAIN just grasping at straws, hoping they can capitalize on it. I'm hoping they have potential customers, you know, lined up that they think they have a chance with this. This is not just them, you know, shooting in the air, as they say. A lot of people complaining about the yellow banner that comes across as kind of distracting, especially at night. I kind of agree with it, but it is letting you know that you are not taking quality photos while you're driving. So I guess instead of you being surprised that you're not getting the full rewards or getting all the photos taken, they did say that this was going to happen, that if your photos ain't good enough, you're not going to get credit for them. SOARCHAIN steadily coming down in price. We're down 16, almost 17%, 0.0021 last week, 0.0017 this week. And look at the month is down 27%. I don't know what else is going to take. They're not on exchange anymore, if they even were. Basically, two pools from Meteor at 12,000 of daily volume. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with SOARCHAIN, how much longer they'll be able to survive like this. It's good to see them doing new things like the camera. But like I said, with the camera, you don't know if that is just prayer and hope that it takes off or what's going to happen with it. But I really don't see that much going on. This was from 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to go over it again. The announced the D-SOAR to SOAR conversion is now complete. That's where I made like about $90 off of it, which is probably more than I've made on SOARCHAIN altogether. Earnings from Dashcam will be D-SOAR until September 1st and completely switched to SOAR after this date. I just checked it, even though it's September 1st, and I still have D-SOAR, not SOAR, on my app for the camera. I used the Dashcam today going to lose. Dashcam pioneers participating in testnet until now is recognized as a Dashcam pioneer. This status comes with priority access to new features. Dashcam early adopter starting now. Anyone begins contributing at least 1,000 SOAR by D-SOAR by December 1st will be recognized as a Dashcam early adopter. Yeah, I don't know where that's supposed to be announced or where that's supposed to be tagged to my name or something. I don't know. But hey, I hope the Dashcam thing is a way to lift this out the garbage, because as we said, this is in basically last place right now. I still have dead no rewards for ERWIN. Nobody's argued with me yet. You know, the one guy who runs the project finally showed up about 4 days ago in the Discord. Everybody was like, oh my, you know, He finally showed up, but there's been really no movement on it. There's not really much talking going on in here. You know, is the project technically dead? No, they say they're still working on it. They still plan on trying to sell NFTs to get into this project. But again, like I told y'all, even though I claimed through July, through June and beginning of July, and it said it was successful, none of those have hit any of my accounts. This was the last activity was June 9th. So the rest of June, every Monday I collected. It said it was successful, never hit my account. I've never gotten any answer on that. And for kicks and giggles, we'll go ahead right now and try to do a claim and see what happens. So clearly right here, even though it says it failed last time, it says I claimed. Y'all just saw the last time anything has hit my account. That wallet matches exactly the wallet that I showed y'all, 60p, 60p. And y'all see for yourself that here's ERWIN. You go down to the first June 9th. So this wallet's open. Let's go to claim rewards and see what happens. Transaction failed. So again, I'm told inactive doesn't mean anything. It's to be ignored right now. I have that in a DM when I asked about it. As long as you stay charged, you should still be collecting. I'm curious to see later what happens with this 27. So I don't know what's going on with this product. So when you refresh, it says right here, I have 0 ERWIN and I claimed on September 1st. So we'll go right now and I still have the same amount of tokens. I claimed 9 on June 9th. So y'all want to tell me this project's not broken right now? I don't know what else to tell you. All right, so moving on, we into our testnet projects, trying to wrap this up. Wingbits. Hey, we should be starting mainnet. I should be having a party right now. We should be starting mainnet. I got pushed back. We don't know exactly when. I will say this again, even though I'm not really supposed to say too much. From another project doing a AMA type weekly video, completely different project, nothing to do with Wingbits, but somebody threw a date out that Wingbits was supposed to go testnet, mainnet, end of September. And I was told that that date was nowhere true. Don't know how the hell they came up with that. It was a Saturday. And basically the response was, have you ever seen a main project go mainnet on Saturday? No. So I don't know where that date came up. If you happen to see that, I've seen some people discuss, repeating that. Don't repeat it. There officially, as of last week, middle of last week, still is no date for this. Trust me, when Wingbits has a date for mainnet, we're all going to hear about it. It's going to be all over the Discord. I'm going to be sharing it on X. I'm going to be sharing it on my Discord. I'm sure there's going to be people sharing it with me. It's going to be all over the place. So they're saying, originally they said, or in the last AMA, they said it won't be moved back much further than September 1st. They're thinking now end of Q3, summer 2025, which is technically the end of this month. So they have 4 weeks to get it done. I'm positive on the project. Y'all know I'm very positive on the project. I also know, talking to these guys and seeing what they're doing, they have a lot that they still have to accomplish, that they want to accomplish in 4 weeks. Hey, can you get it done? Absolutely. These guys have been busting their butt. There's no reason we're going to think they're going to take a break now. But it's still a lot of stuff that needs to get done on, the backside, bunch of different things, bunch of different areas. I don't want to go over it all right now. But I'm going to tell you, people are still buying these devices. I had somebody bought 3 of them within the last week, WB200s. You still got people buying MGW310s, which is really surprising when you look at what the GEODNET project is paying right now. A $750 device for GEODNET's taking you basically a year if the prices stay level. The prices stay where they're at now. That's 350 days to ROI on that, on a GEODNET device. So, and we don't know what the ROI is going to be on Wingbits yet. But my point I'm trying to make is, hey, people using it, people still buying it. They're still using my code, and I really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot. For those, who've been using my code for different things at Helium Deploy, I really appreciate it. If you're trying to buy something at Helium Deploy, my code don't work, let me know. It's not automatically tied to all projects like HiFix does it, but usually I could just email somebody and get it activated for that product. Moving on, 375 AI. Looking through it, there is absolutely no updates at all about this project. Towards the end of, I think it was July, they kept saying how they were very close to mainnet, 90-something% close. We haven't heard anything more since then. People have talked a little bit about it in their Discord, but looking at the updates, they've had basically no updates, no announcements since August 20th, and it was where they deployed their 375 Edge on Highway 10 in Los Angeles. Is Highway 10 the same as Interstate 10? I hope so. But anyway, I don't know. I don't know what's going on 375 AI. Moving on. COMBINDER, no really news with them. They're still only on Telegram. Still have my 4 plugs plugged in and just waiting to see what's next with that project. Again, we knew it was a new project, but there's no new quests that have been out, at least that I've seen when I last checked. But I still have my plugs plugged in, and I'm still using them when I need them to remotely unplug and plug things back in. I'm working on that remote station right now for Helium and for Wingbits going to New Orleans at my niece's house. It is going to have a COMBINDER plug on it so that when I got to remotely reboot it, I don't have to bother. It reboots on its, from my app. So, and BrushO. For those of y'all who used my code for BrushO, I really appreciate it. I'll be honest with you. I told y'all this in my Saturday video. I was kind of overwhelmed by the response. Again, I don't know who bought what. I don't know what area of the world y'all bought them from, but it was a very good amount of BrushO. I didn't make really that much off the code because I don't make that full 10%. Don't think that. That's something I need to discuss with Helium Deploy because I understand they got other YouTubers that do, but that's for me and them to discuss later. So I only made a couple of bucks off of each BrushO being sold, but either way, I appreciated that y'all thought about me enough to buy the product. Well, a couple of things after 1 week of use, I can say is that while my teeth do feel clean, I think the app's not worth the crap. What I have found is no matter which way you start in your mouth, I've started from the top on the left. I started on the top on the right. I started on the top, on the bottom on the left, on the bottom on the right, different times. It just maps what it wants to map. The mapping is wonky on it. I hope that's something they can fix. I have reached out and told them about it. And basically they're trying to tell me that the app's more or less to log that you are, brushing and how you're brushing. And while what they're trying to say is, even though it might be started on the top left, if you look, the bottom right might be mapping. That's how you just have to pay attention that it is mapping that you're brushing a section. But my thing is, it's broken into 4 sections, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 sections, but yet you have 6 sections in your mouth. That don't make sense either. And my other issue is if, I'm trying to do the sections a certain way and I'm not done in 2 minutes, brush turns off. And I don't know how, do you turn it back on and start a whole nother cycle? I want to be able to brush longer than 2 minutes sometimes if I didn't finish a section or if I feel like I need to hit another section. That's just a couple of things. But hey, this is a test net project. And I told y'all before, don't buy this thing thinking y'all going to, make Lambo money or anything like that. Buy this thing if you need a toothbrush. And it has a little lanyard, but a little extra. I will say, after I brush, it does reward me in tokens, maybe like that evening or the next day or something like that. So I am getting the oral tokens. When it goes mainnet, those oral tokens will then become brush tokens. But right now I have 94 BrushO brush tokens or oral tokens. I don't know how that is exactly broken down or anything, but and I know at some point it's probably getting an NFT. Or I do have an NFT, a BrushO oral Web3 ID NFT. So still learning about it. I'm still giving them feedback. I don't think there's a Discord yet, and we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But I appreciate all the people that did support and got, so many people serious about oral hygiene. Your parents will be proud of you. Granny will be proud of you. Again, guys, I think we're in the calm before the storm. I think that we should have some kind of alt season, whether or not how, and listen, this is not my cup of tea as far as me calling this type of stuff. I don't know what we're going to see. I have my gut feelings, and sometimes my gut feelings, because I'm so detached from what some of these experts want to see, sometimes I am accurate because they want to see, like, if they truly believe that these cycles are following these cycles, despite what it might show them, they don't want to see it. They think, oh, man, that can't be happening like that. We have a cycle coming, or vice versa. Where me, I don't care. And I just think that with this crazy president we got, crazy if you like him, good, crazy bad if you don't like him, it don't matter. I don't care. I'm not bringing politics into this. I'm just trying to say, if you don't think that Trump is a polar opposite of what we had the last 4 years in office, shame on you, because he is. I don't think I need to tell you all that. So why would you think that a cycle 3 or 4 years ago is going to be not different? I don't know. But hey, crypto's worldwide. You never know. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We have many weeks to talk about it before the full alt season starts. And hey, if it's starting, it should be obvious. It shouldn't be us just double guessing it. Alts have sucked lately. Alts have sucked. We've seen a little bit of up in here and there, but whatever. So I'll have a live on Thursday. I might do a live tomorrow on Tuesday, depending on what's going on, Tuesday or Wednesday, just to chit chat with y'all. We get on here and we don't follow a script or nothing. We just start BS, and then y'all bring up different things and we discuss it, and we'll see. We'll see what happens. As far as our project's concerned, we'll see what DIMO does. It's very interesting. That's the interesting product that has our attention right now. The project that has our attention, really, just because none of us thought this was possible. And we're going to see if it's sustainable. Hey, it's nice to get extra rewards. We just question that. Why hasn't it been like this? Why haven't you had these price increases? People are saying, oh, because they don't have to pay for the subscriptions, or the cellular connections. I don't think that's what it is, because so what you're telling me, instead of them paying for that, instead of paying the expense of a cellular connection, now they're taking that money and putting it into the token. That's two different expenses. I don't see that's what it is. I don't know. I still think it's price manipulation. I think DIMO's taking money out of every fund, the coffee pot fund and the lunch fund and the Lambo fund for every employee or whatever, and they're putting that into the token to try to get people to say, oh man, I should have never quit. Let me go subscribe, and just to try to get people to come back. That's what I think. But hey, I could be wrong. We'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate it. I thank everybody for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.